So, um, I guess this is gonna be part one of a series where I will describe pretty much as much as I know about a killer, going through all of them in order, of course. Um, and we're gonna be starting with the Trapper because he was the first, and while being the first, he's also probably one of the weakest, if not the weakest. Uh, Basically because, you have to go around and collect your power. You have to walk through across the entire map trying to find these traps, and then just place them in strategic spots. And on most maps, they're pretty visible unless you get some freaking cracked bushes, which are pretty sick when they do happen. Um, let's see. Let's go over his add-ons. Where's some good add-ons? Yeah, we have the Trapper gloves, which, in my opinion, are very fucking solid, increasing setting speed by 30%. Overall, very solid buff that could never hurt to have. Padded Jaws, you want to stay away from Padded Jaws as much as possible as a Trapper player, because this is like one of the meme add-ons that makes your power worse but gives you more blood points for those actions. And already, with Trevor being as weak as he is, I would not ever run this. That's probably why I have so many of them. Um, and then you have the makeshift wrap, which I have never used before, but I can see the benefits, definitely. Like whenever you're trying to set up a certain area, most times shack or main, um, this allows you to set a trap in a loop or tile, and a survivor will have to run around it, but you can just run right through it and save some time. That can result in a hit by the pallet right before they chuck it, or results in them just going down because they're injured. Next we have bear oil, which I really like bear oil in like my experiences of using it, because just being able to, I usually run bear oil with fastening tools, so that way you can set it down silently and super fast, and it could be in the middle of a chase, and just survivor won't hear it being set down, and they'll think you're just mind gaming or something, and they'll go around, and hopefully if it's in a good spot, they won't see it, and they'll just get killed. Or, sorry, not killed. Trapped. Obviously a kill. Or down. Or whatever, depending on how you're doing in that game. We then have wax brick. Increases the time where they can attempt escape. It's not too great. It's still better than nothing. It's way better than padded jaws here. But, typically, survivors will get out of the trap on their third or fourth attempt, roughly, or on their first if they're super lucky. But they are guaranteed to come out of the trap after 6 attempts, because that exists for some reason. But yeah, definitely preventing, like, if you get a trap and they're sort of far away and you have this add-on, you could maybe go for them, and you might have more safety in knowing that they're going to take longer to get away. So that, in situations like that, it helps. But if they get trapped right in front of you, which is what usually happens, it, they're it's not going to do anything because you're just going to be right there anyways. Serrated jaws. Okay, so I'm gonna say this right now. I really like the jaws add-ons other than the padded jaws. The rusted jaws and the lengthened jaws. I like lengthened more than rusted, but I know that that's not. It doesn't really do much difference because again, if a survivor is trapped right next to you, you're just gonna down them anyways. But with a deep wound from lengthened jaws, it just you know instead of them like if they were to get away, they would have to spend like I think it's like 8 or 10 seconds mending instead of being able to do other things. And mangled just it's basically the same thing, but just comes later and uh, can be stalled. However, this must be taken care of before they do anything else, like at all. Anyway, let's get back to the serrated jaws. Hemorrhage, hemorrhage is it's not too great by itself. With mangled, it's definitely a lot better and more tolerable. But with just hemorrhage alone, it's not that great. So add-ons that inflict hemorrhage or like blood echo with that, uh, it's nice. Again, it's not like if you had no add-ons other than serrated jaws, you should still run this add-on because it's better than nothing. Um, but if you had an option between all the jaws add-ons, definitely just rusted jaws or lengthened jaws they just do more, all in all. Um, Next we have the coffee grounds, which these used to be like they are still very nice and helpful when you're setting down traps in the middle of a chase. But recently, or somewhat recently, Trapper got a pretty good buff to where after setting a trap, he moves 7.5% faster for, I believe, also 5 seconds. So, stacking this on top, that is insane speeds. Like, sorry, not insane. Blight still exists. But, 12.5% haste for 5 seconds after setting a bear trap it's pretty significant. So if you just ran coffee grounds and fastening tools, sure the survivor is going to hear the trap being placed, but if it's in a good spot, they'll still have to run around it, and you'll be ridiculously faster for 5 seconds. So that should help you get a hit or secure the down. So definitely up there. 4 coil spring kit increases time for as to disarm the bear traps. Honestly, the wax brick is better because attempt escaping is like because 4 coil spring kit or the wax brick, you could run either or. I'm not because there's some situations where one would be better than the other. I don't know really which one would push the other over the top. Moving into the greens now, we have the Trapper Bag, which, not bad. This is actually very good. You can now hold 3 instead of 2 at a time. However, the purple bag, the sack, is just a way better version of this because you start with all of your traps and you don't have to collect any of them. This one's nice if you don't want to have the downside of the purple sack, but I would still heavily recommend the trapper sack over it because not having to go to the corners of the map to find your bear traps is very nice. We have the tar bottle. Darkens the appearance of the bear traps. This add-on is very much hit or miss. If you get like an indoor map like Larry's or Hawkins, and I'm pretty sure Midwich is very good for this because Midwich usually has darker floors, especially on like the stair area. But indoor maps, really indoor and bright maps are make this so bad. Like, you would rather not have this add-on than have this if it's like a bright map. So, but there are a few maps where, like the Red Forest, that realm is very good for this because a lot of the grass it'll blend in with most of the grass. Um, but yeah, again, if you just get like a bright map, uh, like what is it? Toba Landing. Toba Landing. Honestly, the regular traps blend in way more with the foliage and stuff because it's splattered red. It's like tinted red, and most of the grass is like a reddish color, so it matches pretty well. And bringing this would make it so much worse. Next, we have the secondary coil, which is just the 4 coil spring kit, but a longer time. So obviously, this one is higher up than the spring kit, purely because it's just a higher percentage. But again, not really sure exactly how much value this can provide in a regular game. And then we've already covered all the Jaws add-ons, and I've already talked about the Fascinate tools. However, this gives a nice benefit between the wax brick, because this is like the wax brick and the setting speed, which is the gloves. It's like combining those two with a larger percent for the setting speed, but a slightly smaller percent for the escape speed. But this also includes a survivor saving someone trapped and the survivor saving themselves. So this is just a great middle ground. Like, honestly, Fascinating Tools is probably like the most fair and just overall buff without being a complete change to his kit. That's just the one that does that the best. And then the Trapper Sack, already covered when we did the Trapper Bag. The Tension Spring, this is really busted on an in-game when you set a trap and then say you have like no way out with Tension Spring on both doors. If the survivor tries to open the door, no way out, which forces them back into the trap, and even if you're far away, like say at the other exit gate, you know that they won't be able to open that door in time, because this will just open back up at their feet 2 seconds after they escape from it, and boom, they're just caught again, giving you like more time to just get back to them. The Oily Coil. I'm not. I haven't really used the Oily Coil because it's like, why would you need the aura of a survivor who could be like halfway across the map? Because like, Trapper is not a character that can really get to places very quickly. He's very much, everyone needs to be around him for him to have a good time. But with this, it could show you the aura of someone working on a gen like 3 blocks down to the nearest Kroger, or it could be showing you the aura of someone like who's hiding in the bush right next to you and you never would have seen them. So, I mean, I'd say this is about like a B, maybe like C plus add-on, because the variability with this add-on is through the roof, because it's, and also it could show you the aura of someone you just hooked or you just downed, and then wasting value altogether. But then again, it could show you the aura of someone who's like dead on hook, and you need to find them to get pressure. So I'd say like a C plus add-on for sure, because of those reasons listed prior. The Honing Stone. Honing Stone, in my opinion, is either first or it's very close between Honing Stone and Trapper's Egg. Very close. Honestly, I might be saying that Honing Stone is better because this has no downsides at all and can be done with any of your traps. Them together is a deadly combo because you can have up to like 10. Is it 8 or 10? I forgot. 8 or 10 traps, and all of them can just like, if a survivor is by themselves and you know they're by themselves, you know that you don't have to worry about running over to go try to pressure them. You know that they will not escape because they will just go down instantly. This also really helps with, again, end game situations where a survivor gets trapped at their other side of the map. You know that they're going to be dead, or on the ground at least, and you don't have to worry about trying to run to them. And oftentimes, without this add-on, if you see a survivor just get trapped across the map, you're like, okay, I'm not even gonna go to them because they're gonna get out of the trap before I even get there. But with this, if you are like not chasing anybody, but then you hear that someone gets trapped, you can go there, and you know that they'll be on the ground. Just a free hook for you. So, very decent indeed. Now onto the iridescence. We have the iridescent stone. Every 30 seconds, one closed bear trap opens at random. I don't like how little control you have over this add-on. Yes, it's great if a trap is like opened at the perfect moment that you need it, or that you see a trap just that you set prior in the match just gets closed by survivor, but then it gets opened back up, and it's like the best feeling in the world. But again, you have no control over it. It could be like opening traps along the map that you haven't even picked up yet, thus wasting time on the traps that have been disarmed by survivors. But again, me personally, I don't like this add-on that much because of the fluctuations. It's not very loyal, let's say that, because it can either help you a lot or not at all. But I definitely think Bloody Coil is the better of the two iridescents. It's basically, if a survivor will be injured if they interact with a bear trap. They will. They cannot escape injury if they interact with a bear trap. Because if they disarm it, they get injured. If they don't disarm it and just take the trap and try to move on, they'll still be injured. And pairing this with Honing Stone, if they open it, they get injured. If they get trapped in it, they get downed. So it is the double lethality, and it is crazy. I love running it all the time. Not all the time. I think the thing I would run all the time is probably bear oil and fasting tools, for sure. These are great add-ons that enable mind games and chase, and overall great. I would also recommend coffee grounds and fastening tools, or if you don't have enough fastening tools, trapper gloves, because speed is always good, because you don't want to spend too much time wasting your time, really. So, if you don't have green fastening tools, then brown gloves always work. And coffee grounds that are yellow, so you should be able to get a lot of them when you first start up. And let's talk about perks. Now, the perks I have here, we have Whispers, which tells you if a survivor is in 32 meters of you, but it's also all around you. It's not just on the floor you're on, like say it's like a 2-story, like RPD. You could be on the side of the ground floor, and someone could be on the second floor, and Whispers will be on, and you'll start like thinking that they're on, the bottom floor with you, but they're actually above you. However, on Trapper, this is actually really good because if it turns on, you know that a survivor is near you, and they might be looking at what you're doing, and you do not need the survivors observing where you're placing your traps. You want them to be like a surprise for later. So if you see Whispers turns on, maybe just like quickly look around you and see if you see anyone, and even if you don't, you might want to stop placing traps for now, hopefully you've placed a couple before it turns on. Next we have Mindbreaker. It's just really good for interrupting generators because Sprint Burst is very strong against you. If someone has come off the hook and they have Dead Hard, they can just hop off the gen, Dead Hard you, and run to a safe tile. And that's pretty much the ones that are crucial for when you're like right up on it. But even if they don't have those, and say they have like Smash Hit or Live, you'll be able to like chase them into a nearby tile, and they won't be able to get value of those perks for later on. So Mindbreaker is really good for making sure that you can get a somewhat easier hit whenever you're interrupting generators. So definitely a worthwhile perk. Also Jolt. I don't typically run gen regression. I like gen prevention a little bit, only with Trapper. I like running corrupt intervention, which just gives you overall a good amount of time at the start to place your traps, but don't place too many traps, because then the other generators could start flying. But let me see if I can find it here. Let's put Jolt in the search bar. Oh, sorry. Yes, we go by Surge, now I forgot. But yeah, Surge, if you don't want to do more, if you want more gen regression and gen control, which I would understand, definitely Surge is a very good, probably even better than Fearmonger. Oh, sorry. Mindbreaker. Whoops. Probably better than Mindbreaker because, again, it's more about gen prevention, and on Trapper, you're not very fast-paced. You're very much slow burn, just to hopefully be able to slowly build up pressure over the course of the match. You're not going to get rapid most all the time. But this will definitely help bring the game to a slow, because you're going to be around gens a lot with this guy. And then No Way Out. I really like No Way Out because it just gives you so much time in the end game if you've played nice. I like No Way Out, in my opinion, is like one of the better like give and take perks. Like you have to give not give and take, give and receive. You have to give like 4 individual hook states on each survivor in order to make this really good. But when you do that, it's like a minute. It's a very nice extra minute just at the end of the game, where you can either secure a hook on someone who you've been chasing for a while, or you can like try to slug for more pressure around the map, which is very good. Like say down someone and No Way Out just pops, you can keep them on the ground for a little bit and just make sure that you can maybe secure more kills or slugs in the end game. But yeah, No Way Out, very good. Also No Ed. Hex, No One Escapes Death is also very good if you don't want Mindbreaker or No Way Out. No Ed is very good. Like you're chasing someone and they're healthy. Last gen pops and you're like, damn, they're gonna get out. Because like I'm gonna hit this guy, he's gonna get the speed boost, and he's gonna make it to his friends who can body block him while they're working on the gate. But no, No Ed just comes in, boom, you can now bring that survivor maybe further away from the gates, and they have to waste time trying to find the totem before they can even think about saving. So, very good for trying to get last minute kills, and overall, a very strong perk. And, let me see, what else should I mention? What else should I mention about our good old boy? What the fuck is your name again? I forget. Evan. Yeah, that's right, Evan. What should I say about good old Evan? Well, his name is Evan McMillan. I'm not much of a backstory type of person. We could do a little bit. Yeah, we can do a little bit of backstory on Evan here. Evan had a father, and Evan himself was very creative, but his father didn't really like how Evan was very friendly with the coal miners that they had at their estate. But the coal miners, they were like, hey, we should totally, like, revolt against your father. But they turned their back on Evan, and then his dad takes pity on him and just basically makes Evan think that, oh, these people are, like, not worth it anymore. And I don't know, Evan kind of just snaps for a second and just decides to trap all of them in the mines of the estate. And no, not with bear traps. I think he caused a like a collapse of the exits, and they just all kind of like died or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's a Trapper story in like 60 seconds. Trapper boy. I think we're done with him. I think we're done with the Trapper. So, yes, this has been the part 1 of a series. I will continue this series because a certain significant other has pleaded me to, you know, make a series for just explaining something. She said, explain something that you're just talk for a long time, because I wanna just hear your voice. And I'm like, okay. So I'll talk. This is me talking about something. This is me gonna be talking about something. She originally wanted like a very long 1 episode type of deal, but I'm like, there's no way I would be able to, you know, talk for that long, or just editing all that into all like the breaks and stuff would take a lot more time than just filming 1 video per killer, and it's probably be about 10 minutes long, roughly, I'm gonna say. Maybe closer to 15. If I keep rambling, I'm sorry, but it's a thing I do. He's kind of overpowered at the moment. In next episode, we will talk about the Wraith, our very Christmas Wraith at the moment, with the Halloween weapon. Good old Philip Ojamo. Alright. That has been all.